All right, Tom, when you were talking earlier on, you mentioned 23 businesses here in Bayelsa. Are they in any order of priority in terms of the fact that even investors now want to say, okay, let's take a look at the list of what you're trying to sell to us? What are the order of priority that you want them to consider?
Okay, well, that's a very interesting question. I would hate to prioritize the businesses, to say if we have good opportunities, good investors that come in to partner with us will say no because this is not a priority area. But as a state and as the enabler to drive development and grow the economy, there's certain areas that are of higher priorities than others. So infrastructure, for example, right? That is high priority. You know what we're doing in infrastructure. You mentioned earlier on your show that we're aggressively trying to complete an airport. We need that very, very quickly, right? What the state has actually done is to enable one of our subsidiaries, the Bayelsa Airlines Company, to secure a facility to complete the airport, which is a private sector initiative. The state only comes in to provide the support so that the facility can be obtained to complete the airport. So we're going pure private sector. We're giving concessions. We're looking for partners. We've spoken to quite a few to come and help run the airport, get the airlines in, and do it in a proper competitive private sector way. Another area that we're also interested is to have a seaport. And as you know, Bayelsa is right in the Gulf of Guinea. It opens up, is right by the Atlantic. It opens up that entire West African coast. And we have the most natural seabed to be able to have a truly international seaport that's inexpensive and is going to be that port that supplies the entire West African coastline. So those are very important. Now, my colleague also spoke of agriculture. Now, agriculture too, it's areas that where we have competitive and comparative advantage. If you throw any seed right now in Bayelsa, it's going to grow. We don't need fertilizers, we don't need any of that. In fisheries with aquaculture, it's also a natural area. So naturally we'll go after that. Tourism and hospitality, big yes, because we have the longest coastline of any state, 125 kilometers, most of which is white sandy beaches. So, it just makes a lot of sense to do that. Now, we also have the oil and gas space that we've been looking at for a while. We say, okay, yes, we're diversifying away, but we're also trying to extract as much value from the oil and gas space. One of our subsidiaries, Bayelsa Oil Company, has found oil. We have two blocks, an oil block and a gas block. We've actually found oil, we started exploring. So we're also open to acquiring more marginal fields as the IOCs divest out of onshore and shallow offshore and go, majorly offshore. So that again is one for us. We're a marine economy, so we should be doing marine logistics. We want to be able to transport the oil from the oil majors and be the logistics company. So all these areas, we're also interested in manufacturing. We need to industrialize because we need more people to come to Bayelsa. We need to have more tax revenues. We need to boost the economy. In that marine space as well, we also want to extend our value chain, in the oil. So fertilizer, in fact, one of our biggest partners that we started the project with, actually is ongoing, they started early works, is Brass Fertilizer. That's a $3.5 billion investment coming to Brass. They're going to have their own mini seaport. They're going to build a little town. They're going to be producing 5,000 metric tons of ammonia, 2,200 metric tons of urea, 7,000 metric tons of methane. It's such a huge industry that will kick off. So it's very important. These are the kind of partnerships that my colleague was speaking about. That the bigger the ticket, the bigger the size of the project, the bigger the concessions that we give. For this particular project, we're looking to give tax concessions. We're helping in that process to promote an export-free zone or a trade-free zone in the area so that they can easily export, most of the produce. So you can imagine if you have workers of over 10,000 people to start with in the build-out of the project, you can see the enormous add-ons for the economy that Bayelsa will have. So in terms of priority, yes, the bigger the ticket, the better, but we're not ignoring small business because we know SMEs are the engine of any economy. And so, like you mentioned earlier, we also have a fund that is focused on SMEs. BDIC as a company is also committed to investing 150 million into that fund as part of it, because we know to sustain any economy, small business, they employ the most people, they pay the most taxes cumulatively, you know, than the big business, because the big business know how to run around and dodge taxes and ask for all the big tax concessions and everything. So this is a really concerted effort from, you know, all angles, and that's why we have the team that we have, that's why we have the different agencies that we have doing different things. So we have a major synergy, you know, to produce the kind of economic success story that we want to project.
All right, just before we go on break, let me come to Frida very quickly. While you were talking earlier on, you said you were looking for the right people, and this brings to bear the issue of capacity building. Are you looking inwards for the people that will help drive this growth, or are you looking for just investors that want to come into Bayelsa in this case?
Well, I think that's a very key question, and if you look at the history of what this government has been doing, one of the key things has been developing capacity in the various sectors in Bayelsa State. I think it was last year that the government sent people to Benin to actually, for agriculture, to actually learn and to actually grow, so that we have people, so that when, not only so we can have subsistence farming and have a small SMEs, but that when the big agricultural players are on ground, they have people who they can work with. We also have the Marine Academy. And the Marine Academy, just like Tammy has said, is like we're a marine economy. So we are having that, knowing that we need to start getting very seriously into that area, including into shipbuilding, because especially when our seaport is going to be open, you're going to need all those skills and all those technology, all the logistical skills and all the capacities even in terms of both repairs, management, etc. We also have the training institute that we just recently opened, the Tourism and Training Institute. And this is to ensure that as we are opening up the state to a lot of tourism and a lot of conferences and a lot of international events, that you actually have the capacity, the trained people who can actually carry this out. And as we get into more into more business opportunities in more in different sectors, then the state government is working hand in hand with the private sector to actually ensure that we have capacities in this area. One of the new initiatives of the government is actually the enterprise development and skills and enterprise development, which is something that we are starting, which was actually an offshoot of our SME event, to ensure that we have people that are constantly trained with skills in the various areas where the economy is developing. As the state government has key areas of focus, you know, surely transportation, infrastructure, agriculture, tourism, etc., oil and gas, energy. We are using this enterprise development agency to ensure that we train these people in these areas to ensure a sustainable economy.
All right, thank you. At this point, I have to just go on the break. I have to let you go as well. Thank you for coming. I have been talking to Tam Alaziga, is the Group Managing Director of Bayelsa Development and Investment Corporation, and also Frida Maribruce. She is the Director General of the Bayelsa Investment Promotion Agency, and we've been looking at the investment opportunities here and what the agencies that they represent intend to do to achieve great success even after this forum is ended. We'll be right back.